money on my mind. Gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. Before we jump into it, I want to make sure everybody hits the like button on the way in. Want to make sure that you guys are dialed in, locked in, supporting, rocking with your boy. If you've been here more than twice, definitely follow up with hitting that subscribe button. As you're doing that, don't forget to hit the bell notification next to the subscribe and turn that to all on. I will not be flooding your feed. That's not the type of content I'm doing over here. I don't live here. I don't have anything to sell you, so therefore I'm not always in your face. Lastly, another free and easy way you can support is to share the content. We don't gatekeep over here. There's plenty of room in the wolf pack. So if you're getting value out of these videos, these updates, these episodes, feel free to go ahead and share that content with your circles as well. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into the stuff. Let me go ahead and micro machine myself. Oh yeah, got to switch back. It's not an update. We got to switch back. We got to show it for what it is. We got to clear it out. Micro machine. Boop. There we go. So as of this recording now, I'm recording this one a little bit early. Normally I record on Tuesdays, and I'm going to be going out of town. So I got a flight that's booked. So I'm recording this on Monday. This is being recorded Monday evening, September 1st. Welcome to September. Happy hump day. You're halfway through the week at the time that you guys are watching this. I used to actually record these on Sundays, man. Like I really have, kind of tried to move up the relevancy of these recordings by doing them the day before they're up. It's part of my schedule, but the schedule changes when you're out of town. We got lots of content coming for you. It's the first week of the month, so you should have seen the portfolio update. You should have been able to tap in on the, let's see, portfolio update. We did the portfolio update. You did the financial update, so you got to look at the financial full spectrum of what I got going on. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff just happening. Stuff is just out here happening. We're out here doing things, and the needle is being moved forward. And that's the most important thing, is that you're consistent. So today, as of this recording, Bitcoin is sitting at $108,301. Down in the dumps. Ethereum also down in the dumps, bouncing off an all-time high. We are at $4,280.17. Bitcoin dominance at 56.6%. Ethereum dominance is at 13.5%, pulled back a little bit. Gas fees on Ethereum are at 0.998, right at 1 Gwei. Still acceptable ranges. Moving on to the top 3 trending coins. Shout out to CoinGecko for this wealth of information. This is the platform that I use to actually track my crypto portfolios, which will be getting simplified moving forward, but I'll still be using this as a wealth of information about the cryptocurrency space, constantly innovating, constantly giving us more content, more stuff to talk about. So top 3 trending coins. At number 1, we have World Liberty Financial. At number 2, we have XRP. Let's give a shout out for some relevant coins up in the list. Number 3, Hyperliquid. That's another relevant coin. If you guys aren't up on Hyperliquid, you might want to do some research into that. That's another interesting one. In my opinion, I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet. This isn't financial advice. This is just me bumping my head through, talking about my journey, my adventure, telling my story. Moving on, let's jump into the top 5 gainers and losers of the big up. And then let me check and see where we're at. So that over a little bit. Let's see if we do that there. Yeah. Making sure we're lining up right so that you guys can see over me down here in the corner. Yep, we're good. You guys can see everything you need to see there. Okay, moving on to the top 5 gainers and losers. Starting off with the gainers, and I hope you guys all get an opportunity to be on this list because it's a good list to be on. It's a great place to exist, to get to bask in the spotlight, bask in the glory. Starting off at number 1, we have at rank 868, Elastos with a gain of 26.6% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, at rank 90, we have Memecore with a gain of 25.9% in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 904, MMX with a gain of 22.8% in the last 24 hours. At number 4, we have at rank 455, Axet with a gain of 17.6% in the last 24 hours. And last but not least, at number 5, rounding out the list, at rank 973, we have Clash of Lilliput with a gain of 16.7% in the last 24 hours. Now moving over to our top 5 losers of the last 24 hours. We have, and I hope you guys never end up on this list, but if you do end up on this list or one of the tokens you're looking at ends up on this list, I'm hoping it is offering you a great entry point. Like you've been scouting it out, wanting to see what's going on. You've been waiting to pull the trigger till you get that pullback, and this is it. If it's a coin that you already hold, I'm hoping that you're still dollar cost averaging, and this is an opportunity for you to get a little bit extra on sale. Bringing down that cost average, because that's always great. At number 1, we have at rank 800, Block with a loss of 37.3% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, we have at rank 556, Dolomite with a loss of 34.4% in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 734, Launch Coin on Believe with a loss of 26.4% in the last 24 hours. At number 4, we have at rank 686, Ray with a loss of 25.1% in the last 24 hours. Rounding out the list. This is perfectly placed. I mean, sometimes the jokes tell themselves. At rank 981, we've got Uranus with a loss of 24.2% in the last 24 hours. It's a big loss for Uranus. Moving on. Got to give a little context before we jump over into the portfolio. We are down 3.18% in the last 24 hours. And that puts us at a minus 18.1%, but we are still holding strong under 20% in the bull run portfolio. Got one quarter, coming down on this last quarter. I'm interested to see where we end up because we are trending down, good sirs. But it's been a bloodbath that we've been fighting our way back from the get-go. Like this portfolio took a beating, altcoins took a beating, and we're going to talk about my thoughts on why, what my feelings and thoughts are on this. But before we do that, let's give the top 10 holdings as of this recording. At number 1, we have Solana, SOL. At number 2, we have Ethereum, ETH. At number 3, we have Thorwallet, DEX, TGT. At number 4, we have Aave, AAVE. At number 5, we have Radium, RAY. At number 6, we have Jupiter Perpetual Liquidity Provider Token, JLP, always a mouthful. At number 7, we have Injective, INJ. At number 8, we have Superverse, SUPER. At number 9, we have Akash Network, AKT. And last but not least, rounding out the top 10 holdings, number 10, we have Avalanche, AVAX. Now, we have a little conversation to have, which is same game, different cycle. Now, this happens every cycle, my friends. It's very interesting having been in crypto as long as I've have since 2013 actively, watching as the space has, sprouted, evolved, grown its wings, started flying. and seeing the exact same scenario play out over and over and over again, and being subject to it myself, because normally I'll find something. Fortunately, this year, it's a little bit different, and we're going to talk about the differences that I'm seeing from my perspective. Now, obviously, I'm no whale in this space. This is somebody who's eked out an existence with an average salary. I don't make six figures. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to just casually throw over here. My net worth normally floating around where we're at right now. We're in price discovery for my net worth. This is the highest it's ever been. We've broken $300,000 in net worth, but with crypto, it's like you kind of look at where you stabilize at, and we've been stabilized over 250. So we did crest 300,000. As of this last episode, this last financial update from August, we ended the month at 291,000. So we're almost back up there in the all-time high space for me. But a lot of that is just pure grit and consistency, because we're also have a savings rate that's over 40% most of the time. So we're constantly trying to push the needle forward, which means that when we go through dips, I am getting a little bit extra because I'm constantly going into the market. I am not doing something that may be a little bit smarter, but at least at this juncture, this go round, this year for sure, I am not following the cycles, and we're gonna talk about why that is. But we see this every Bitcoin halving cycle. There's like an insane push to push retail out, and the push is a lot more insane now because there's actually an entity, the institutions that want your coins, especially for those of us who are in Bitcoin. They want our coins. Like, they want to dangle 124,000 at you and then shoot the price down, let the price drop. And then you freak out and go, oh, well, I didn't sell at 124, but it looks like we're going back down below 100, and it might never go back to 124. Like, we do this every cycle. Every single cycle this happens. And people will sell off. They'll be like, oh, as soon as we get back to 120s, I'm out. And they'll wait, and we will go shoot back to the 120s because it's coming. And they'll sell as soon as we get to 120, and then it'll go to 140. And then they'll buy. And they're just buying in at a higher cost basis. Like, they didn't even get a deal. They should have been buying now at 108. And it shakes them out of the market. And this exasperates through the altcoins. Like, I mean, we've been talking about how bad my portfolio has been getting beat up this whole time. And I'm trying to wait it out through the cycle. But also, for me personally, I don't have to play that game anymore. And I think it's what is it? Like, once you have a little something to lose, you don't want to be as risky. And for me, that's kind of downshifted from wanting to go into DeFi and put all my money in DeFi and have my money in DeFi and have these large amounts of altcoins for the halving cycle into high yield dividends. And that's less risk than what I'm currently dealing with. So, like, as we're considering winding down this portfolio at the end of the year and just going pure long plays, which makes sense to me. I mean, at this juncture, because where I'm at, I don't need to do the riskier stuff at this point. So, like, the DeFi portfolio, I'm looking at kind of side-eyed because I'm like, man, we took a beating on this portfolio. And then I look at my high yield and I'm like, well, the NAV took a beating, but total return, we're X, Y, and Z, and we're making money, and that's producing what I needed to produce, which is basically doing what this DeFi portfolio should have been doing in the first place. So, it'd be better placed if this money was just in Bitcoin or just in Ethereum or just sitting in Chainlink, to be honest. Like, I've been okay with that. Bitcoin and Ethereum, probably the big dogs on that. But because with the Bitcoin, that would put me closer to being able to leverage. So there's that. And I mean, that's basically the gist of it. Is just, it would have just been more useful and it would have grown more had it all just been in Bitcoin. And like, that's a hard truth. But the other side of that truth is, at the stage that I'm at in the game, like, just starting to hit my financial stride, starting to make moves where I'm like, hey, I want to retire early. I want to be out of the workforce. And we're down to that 23-month marker. I also have to secure some income. So the DeFi part of it was necessary. Now that I have the high yield piece of it, it's not nearly as necessary anymore. And like the high yield part is actually de-risked from my standpoint of what I'm used to coming from a cryptocurrency space. So we're going to be making those updates and adjustments as well. But every cycle, it gets to this part where it wrenches those people out because the price drives down. And the reason being is it's to push you out of the market. It happens literally every cycle I've been in. This happens. And normally it's like, that's the reason I always put stuff off. Like I'm very slow to make pivots with crypto specifically because the market turns around so violently and so hard. Like with my high yield portfolio, I'm much better about pivoting as needed. Like as soon as the numbers start not making sense, and it's not made sense for a little bit, like I'm like, yo, okay, we're going to start making the adjustment. We got to get these numbers back to where they need to be. With my crypto, I move a lot slower because I know these cycles. I'm like, well, cool. If I liquidate everything, secure these losses, and move over into whatever, then the market reverses. It's going to reverse violently, just as violently as it went down, maybe even more violently. So I kind of give a lot more of a berth on my positions, and I go, cool, I'm going to sit on these for a second. Like I want to see what the actual banana zone bull run looks like. And people don't have that staying power in these markets because they're gambling with the money, or you're dipping out of it, or you need the income, which I mean, for high yield, I'm the exact same way for high yield because I'm using that income to currently machine through debt. The issue is with high yield, it's not violently moving down like 30% in a day. Like I'm not having 30% drops in a day over in that portfolio. We're going to knock on wood. I don't want to see that either. But we're not having those what the heck happened while I was asleep movements because the markets go to bed on TradFi, which is kind of nice. It's a little bit easier. And it's consistently producing the income that I need. Like I have the weight over there to throw around where it's doing what it needs to do on a regular basis. And I'm able to manipulate that income immediately and do what it needs to do with that. So like the money's making money. I'm keeping my dollars working. It just works a little bit better on that side of things because it's smoother because it's already in the system. So long story short, babbling here. I pull back on my I pull back and break my thought process a little bit when it comes to crypto because sometimes it's a little bit better to just wait a little bit longer. Now, here are the things that I'm noticing that are different. August and September are always pretty much bad. They're pretty much bad months. This is around the time that they're always doing the cyclical shakeouts, but also it's bad for the traditional finance market. It's slow. It's just a slow down couple of months. August, September, the last quarter of the year, when people are getting back after you get to Thanksgiving, tell everybody about your wins and losses since the last time you saw them. People start getting back into markets, period. They'll get back in the stock markets. They're going to get their good stock tips. They're going to get told about Bitcoin. They're going to get told about Ethereum. They're going to get told about crypto. And people generally start buying around that time. But this window of time that we're in, it's shakeout season. And I mean, I see that through the end of the year sometimes. Like you'll get a breakout at the beginning after New Year's, like New Year's forward. It's like, hey, fresh energy, fresh money, re-strategizing. People got their New Year's resolutions. They're trying to figure out a way to get out of the matrix. That's normally about the time that somebody sits down and goes, I don't want to. I can't do this anymore. I got to make some changes. New year, new me, new phone, who dis? So the end of the year for me, I kind of write off the whole of it, and it's one of those things where I know I spend down my portfolio and the crypto portfolio. We've been spending it down, condensing it, consolidating, and then redeploying in a different fashion. And since we are currently still in the bull halving cycle, I'm a little bit hesitant to completely wind down this portfolio specifically. Like I might go through and see if I can hunt down the scraps of what's left outside of the top 10. But I think my top 10 positions, I'm really considering just like letting those float unless we're in parabolic bull run coming towards the end of the year, at which point we'll shift that over into longs, and then we can just really be focusing on our long-term holdings and the understanding therein with those, which will change the content of the things I'm talking about a little bit, because the updates will be very blatantly kind of what they are at that point. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what that looks like. That aside, August turned out pretty well. We had a good amount of DeFi income come in. We pulled in $432, which is pretty nice. We stocked away a little, actually a good amount more into crypto. We did some good work there, converting over into Bitcoin. Oh, I've got one more portfolio to show you too. So hold on, we gotta go back to this. Oh, wow. Okay, I kicked myself out of the studio. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Oh, there we go. There we go. It updated. We've got another portfolio to look at too, because we can't get out of here without looking at the Bitcoin standard. So we are up to $1,242.60. We had a pretty good buy. We threw all of our DeFi income over into this portfolio. Now, we had done a couple of pulls where we took the DeFi income and took it over into our high yield portfolio, but I also did not want to continue doing that. So we're just going straight into Bitcoin. We're making big Bitcoin purchases. Obviously, that's dragging down our total profit. We're down to 25.1% because in this portfolio, we had purchased a lot further back. Now, I'm going to update this. I'm actually going to do a 26 forward Bitcoin standard portfolio where we'll continue tracking this. But in 2026, I'll take the average off this portfolio and we'll have that as the baseline for all the Bitcoin that we acquired throughout this up through 2025. And then we'll start Bitcoin standard 2026. And we're going to move this Bitcoin over into there. And then we'll start tracking those purchases as well. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all going to turn into probably more or less an average down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take our 2025 purchases out of this because we sold off everything else. So I'll just start from where we started, and that'll be the 2026 forward Bitcoin standard. But you know, we're doing some growing. We're following the process. We're getting our maintenance amounts in there. Like that's one of the things that even though I'm tweaking because I want to pay this debt off as fast as possible, I am not stealing that $100 a month from our maintenance. I'm not stealing that any. That's one of the things that I'm not willing to back off on. And actually, I think what we're going to do moving forward is that maintenance is going to be put on a monthly basis, which the maintenance on a monthly basis isn't that bad. It's when I was taking it out of both of we had the double Misty payments, which is like, hey, we do this every 4 weeks. And we were in the same month. We had a double pay in that month. So the second payment, I was like, I dropped a few of the things off, but I made sure to keep that Bitcoin additional payment. And then we had our DeFi that came out that went over into this portfolio as well. This is a hard road uphill to get to our point where we can leverage this because we need so much Bitcoin. It's kind of crazy. But once we pay off the debt, this will go much faster, and I know it will. It's just like even having over $1,000 in here, I'm just like, gosh, we're still so far away from 1 Bitcoin. We're so far away. Like we're sitting at what? 0.001142 Bitcoin. Like, oh god, it's such a drag uphill because I need 1 Bitcoin right now. And the play is we're putting it all over on Strike, and we're hoping that with the hopes of as Bitcoin's price increases, because what it's turned into is the state that I'm in, the minimum you can borrow is $72,000. So what they've done is whatever that factors out into based on Bitcoin's price, that's what it is. So you're borrowing at like 50% loan to value. So you have to have $142,000 in there is basically the gist of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just buying as much Bitcoin as I can and hoping that the price goes up to where it just turns into $142,000. Because like the way that I look at it over the next year or two, towards like this is a long time off play. Like I'm like, okay, so the way that I look at it, if all things stay as they are, and I keep growing my income portfolio, I keep using that to buy more Bitcoin, and I pay off the debt, and then I'm flush with cash, and the majority of it just goes towards buying chunks of Bitcoin. By the time I am at work optional / retired from the income standpoint, I should have the amount of Bitcoin I need to start adding that in as a leverage cycle in my portfolio. That's what I'm going for. And we'll see. And hopefully if the price goes up, like the amount that I need goes down, because these funds will also be compounding. But we'll see how it turns out. That's basically all that I've got for you guys today. You know, it's been another great episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. I want to make sure that everybody, if you haven't yet on the way out, let's go ahead and lay hands on that like button. Free ways to support. Subscribe if you haven't already. I want to formally invite you to join the Wolf Pack, because we're not trying to get rich over here by ourselves, and there's always room for more people to join in what we got going on over here. Tap in with me down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I do respond to all of them, so go ahead and say some stuff. And lastly, share the video if you haven't. Gets me on the algorithm, free support, all that good stuff. And until next week, because this is a weekly episode, it's your boy Reckless Ray Narrow, and I'm out.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.